Hello. Welcome everyone to my 1 year streamiversary. I hope you guys liked my starting screen. I don't know if you remember when I made it like months ago and then proceeded to never use it, but finally got to get it out. Found some music to put behind it and everything. Yeah, man, I can't believe it's been a year. Anyway, I should actually do like some kind of introduction. I'm Talion Trevere. Welcome to my 1 year anniversary stream. I'm joined today by Luke here.
Hello.
And today we've got a couple of things planned for you. The main thing is going to be just kind of going back through some of the games that I've played over this past year, and just give you a little bit of a recap of all the fun times we've had. Another thing I've got going is I have a whole tea setup here. So, you guys might not know this, but my name comes from a rare kind of tea. It's basically a happy stream balloon day. Thank you. So Camellia taliensis is kind of a relative of the tea plant, and it is also sometimes used to make tea. And I have acquired some special fancy teas. As a matter of fact, I have two of them, and I will be trying to have both of them on stream. This is Chinese tea, and I will be trying it in the Chinese style. I have gaiwan, and basically the way this works is that you brew it for very short amounts of time with a very high tea to water ratio. So yeah, I've got all my equipment and everything. I have one that's a white tea and one that's a black tea. They're very fancy, and I'm looking forward to giving them a try. I have not tried them yet. I've had them sitting around for a while. I've been saving them for a special occasion. I guess this is a special occasion enough. So yeah, yeah, obviously I don't want to drink the tea when it's super duper hot. So I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of brew another round in between games. So another thing about these teas is that they're meant to be brewed kind of multiple times for multiple steepings, and the flavor develops as you go. Fancy tea time, yeah. So these should last us for a while. The first go is kind of a short wash where you're supposed to just kind of throw it out. I usually drink it anyway because, like, why waste tea? But in this case, I already did that ahead of time, and I have the tea ready. And let's just go ahead and brew the first cup. So the first one is going to be 10 seconds. Let's just do that real quick. And they're basically going to get a little bit longer each round. So there we go. That's about 10 seconds. It's, maybe not the best idea to have tea set up right next to my computer and all my streaming stuff, but it's fine. We'll be careful.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. So yeah, I will say this stuff smells very nice. This is the white tea, by the way, that I'm starting with.
When have computers and hot liquids and cats ever interacted in a bad way?
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Fine.
Let me give this stuff a sniff. I honestly don't smell that much from the actual brewed tea itself. Well, white tea is generally pretty, mild and subtle, so I'm not expecting anything too crazy. But I guess we'll see when I actually get to take a sip of it. For the meantime, I'm just going to leave that to cool for a little bit. And let's start going through the start of the channel. Well, I guess technically the very first stream that I did on this channel was Speed Paint Sunday, but we'll get back to that. Let's go over some of the games first. I'm sure the Floopy one does not plan any mischief. Yeah, well, fortunately, she usually comes on the other side of the desk. She doesn't usually jump on the side of the desk where I have the tea set up. And I think, honestly, seeing all this stuff there is probably going to deter her. But, yeah, let's check out our very first game that I ever played on this channel, which was The Magic Circle. It was maybe a little bit ambitious of me to start with a game that has, like, 3D graphics. Here, let me skip forward to when I actually start the game. And yeah, it maybe didn't go so great. So I guess maybe to start
I choose
with,
to believe that graphic glitches only enhance the story.
well, I mean, in this case, you might not be wrong. So the Magic Circle is basically a game about a game that's in development, and you're kind of trying to break and or fix it from the inside. So you get to mess around with kind of the internals of the game and hack various game constructs and kind of make them do your bidding. It's actually looking pretty okay right now, but I've definitely seen some parts where this game's frame rate struggles a lot. And I know that I struggled a lot with the controls sometimes because, you know, my computer can't really handle streaming games like this. Yeah, it is a really interesting, kind of unusual little setup. Basically, you as the player character don't really have any combat abilities or anything. So when it comes to defeating enemies and stuff, you have to rely on other like game creatures and enemies that you've like hacked to your side, and you can adjust their abilities and, you know, make them your allies and all of that stuff. And you end up with just this strange menagerie of like bizarre creatures that are following you around, and you can set them to do your bidding. So yeah, it's a really interesting game. It's very snarky, has this very like kind of sarcastic sense of humor where everyone's just kind of trying to like I, I don't know if banter is the right word, but it's just like everyone kind of hates each other a little bit. Um and to be honest, I think in some ways it's a little bit too much for me. I think in particular, I feel like the ending of the game didn't really land super well for me. Hello, Fish Being. Welcome to the stream. Um, yeah, I think this game very much feels like it was made by disgruntled game developers who needed to vent about the game development process. And while I appreciate that, and I think that's a very valid reason to make art, you know, I think it's just not really my personal cup of tea. Like, I like things that are made with joy and passion, and this one just felt a little bit too much of a downer. Like, basically all of the characters are kind of assholes in their own way, and that is entertaining to some extent, but again, I feel like the ending didn't really do it for me, because ultimately it was just like everything kind of sucks. Um, but yeah, still really interesting game. It was definitely fun to play. We had some really funny moments. You can definitely get very creative with how you solve all of these puzzles. Um, Here, let me pull up a highlight. Those kinds of games can be hard. I don't know if I would say it was hard. It was, yeah, they're definitely, it definitely required a bit of creative thinking sometimes, but I found those parts to be really satisfying. Here, let me show a little bit if I can get my computer to load. Here, let me pause this for a sec. Uh-oh. We're lagging a little bit.
Howler. Okay,
Yep.
you can rename them. I'm bad at naming. I don't know. Let's see. I feel like our
Pastalian.
first friend deserves a name though. Maybe I should give it like a classic dog name.
Uh-oh. Why is my
I think
quality terrible?
I think you're gonna be Fluffy. Alright.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Fluffy.
And the technical difficulties are
Background.
Yeah.
part of the magic, part of the experience.
So this is Fluffy, our first friend. Fluffy is honestly one of the only like recurring jokes I have on this channel. I feel like if you've been around some of the other playthroughs, you may have seen me name other creatures Fluffy, and I just want you all to know that whenever I do that, this is the creature that I'm envisioning. This is the original Fluffy. When I name a pet in one of my other games Fluffy,
Friend-shaped.
this is the thing that I'm thinking of. Your voice changed a tiny bit in a year. I upgraded my mic. That's probably why. I have a fancy mic now. So yeah, there he is. Fluffy, the original.
The original, the best.
Yeah, so there was some crazy stuff in this game. I don't know. Do I want to say anything else about Magic Circle? I guess that's kind of all I've got. I did I did end up like having to actually adjust the graphics and like lower some settings in order for me to actually play this game properly. But we made it through in the end. There were some hiccups, but overall, I think as far as a first stream game goes, it was not too bad. So let's move on to our next one. Actually, wait a second. What am I doing? Before we switch games, I've got some tea to drink. Using the graphics, that's unheard of. I know, on this channel. Okay, well, while that loads, we can take our first sip of tea. It's nice. It's... Hello. Happy 1 year anniversary. Thank you. Uh-oh. Cat. Cat, what are you chewing on? Cat is chewing on cables. Do not do that, Cat.
It's like we're eating now.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about this tea. It is pretty subtle, which you kind of expect from a white tea. Also, it's the first steep, which is generally pretty weak. Well, I mean, it's not the first one that I poured off, but it is the second. Hello, Bucky. Welcome to the stream. We just finished talking about our first stream game, and we're about to start the second one, but we've got some tea time happening in between. Darren is streaming 4 minutes. Yep, sorry, that's all I got for you today. You missed the first and only game we were going to talk about. Yeah, yep, that's it. All right, let's brew up our second one. So we did 10 seconds. Let's go for like 15. All right, tea is in. Let's give it 15 seconds to brew. And then we'll pour it into my cup and go talk about our next game. I guess technically I could talk about the next game while it's brewing, but like, oh, time is up anyway. You can say one sentence, and then it's ready. All right, there we go. By the way, when I say cup, this Gaiwan makes more like about half a cup. So I'm not drinking that much tea. I will still be drinking like a shit ton of tea tonight, but it's not going to be like 10 cups. More like 5. Anyway.
Normal number of teas.
Wait, I have so many questions.
Wait. There's Purgatory. That was the second game that I played. It's a very, like, it's a short, free game. Very small, very cute. Yeah, so this one is about basically ending up in Purgatory, in the afterlife, and getting to meet a bunch of people who have been stuck there for countless years, and just kind of making friends with them and seeing if we can solve their problems and maybe, if possible, see if we can get them into heaven. Yeah, so a lot of it is just kind of um about the like ennui and boredom of just being stuck in an eternal afterlife where nothing changes. Except there's also a ton of cat puns. Well, the game advertises itself on cat puns, although in my experience, I feel like there were a lot of non-cat puns as well. There were just all kinds of everything puns. Lots of puns in this game. And in general, I found the dialogue to be very fun and very funny and just very cute and endearing. Purgatory, my sweet home. Yeah, it's a really cute game. Really like, yeah, it just has like nice characters and just in general, it's just nice. It's very cozy, very kind of wholesome and sweet. Um, let's see, I don't know. What else do we want to say about Purgatory? Yeah, it's a pretty simple game. It has a lot of very cute moments in it. Here, I have a little bit from it. What have we got? Oh, here's a little clip of me doing a little bit of drawing in the game. I don't really have clips for all of the games, partially because I want to kind of avoid spoilers. So I think a lot of the games that I played, the best moments are...
All right, what do I draw?
Look at that beautiful
I guess
SpongeBob.
cat would be thematically appropriate. Hey, cat, come here. You want me to draw you? She's off somewhere. Oh god. Wait, hang on.
This is the first appearance of a ghost on stream.
Where's my pen?
There have been ghosts on stream before,
I don't have to do this with a
in
mouse.
disembodied
Are you
form.
kidding me?
But this is the first appearance of a ghost avatar.
No. Oh, the freaking glove.
My power grows.
Yep.
Soon I shall rule the stream.
No, it's not working.
The SpongeBob there was drawn previously by one of the characters, so we're doing a bit of a collaboration here.
Oh no, why isn't this working?
Avatar, ghost avatar, yep.
Hey!
And of course I'm
Gavatar,
struggling
master
with
of all four elements.
Of course I'm struggling with the, with my pen.
Ah!
It's always rebelling.
Anything, is there? It's gonna be the shittiest cat. Alright, here, let's do a tail. Make it fluffy.
Look at this masterpiece. This should have been an art stream.
Whiskers.
And then this masterpiece just stays on this wall for the rest of the game, I think. You can walk past it.
Probably.
I guess this is just what you do when you're stuck in purgatory for all of eternity. You just draw all over all the walls. I mean, what else are you gonna do, right? Alright. Let's go ahead and try our second cup of tea. I can definitely see that this one is a darker color than the previous one. It also doesn't really taste like much, to be honest. Maybe we need to brew it for longer. Well, I guess we're about to. It is also still a little bit hot, because we got through this game a little bit too quickly. It's not bad, though. It is nice and warm. I don't know how interested you guys are in watching me just sit here and sip tea for a few minutes in between games.
someone who's not much of a tea person myself, it is interesting to hear about like what is a taste profile for a tea? What
Yeah.
are the methods to make it right?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not that good at the taste profile stuff. Like I can try, but this one honestly is also just like very subtle. So I don't know if I can really do anything with this. Maybe once we get to later brewings. The taste is just like kind of faint. How would I describe it? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know what I would call this. It definitely smells like kind of fruity. Like it doesn't smell or taste like a black tea. It doesn't have that kind of like bitter note to it. All right, let's get our next brew going. So this time I guess we'll do 20 seconds. Opinions on the heretical practice of adding milk in tea? I mean, so personally, I don't care. Like, you can put whatever in your tea that you like. Okay, so that would be about 20 seconds. Um, yeah, I personally don't put milk in my tea. That's just not something that I've ever done. To be honest, I do that sometimes if like I'm in, a plane or something and they're just serving like shitty tea and then like the milk can kind of mask its shittiness. Um, so, it's useful in that regard. But yeah, that just wasn't really something that I grew up with. I when I'm making tea for myself, generally I brew it Russian style, which is more you can brew it really strong. Like basically I just put the tea in the teapot and like, pour the water over and then I just leave it there all day. Like I'm not timing the amount of time that I steep it or anything. So the tea can be in there for as long as it wants, and then when you actually drink it, you dilute it with water. Then the photos of you putting the most effed up things in your tea. You know what? Go for it. I mean, people have all kinds of different ways of making tea. Remember buying a bag of tea last winter, mixture of herbs, seeds, and spices. Cool. Yeah, there are so many different tea traditions all around the world, and I think it's cool. So even with these like fancy Chinese teas, sometimes I'll play around with trying them in different ways. Maybe add some sugar to them or like do it Russian style, like I mentioned, just kind of brew them up really strong and then dilute them. Um, yeah, I do like to try it first with the traditional way of like doing it the way that it's supposed to be made, just to kind of, just out of my own curiosity for that tea tradition. Um, but yeah, I'm not really a purist in any sense. I think people can do things however they like. All right, let's move on to our next game. The next game I played on this channel was one you may have heard of. Here we've got Yume Nikki, if it loads ever. Come on. Oh no, and the graphic quality is down again. But yeah, this is very much a cult classic. It's one that I had definitely heard of a lot before starting it, and I know has inspired a lot of other games. And it's very much not a typical sort of game. It's more of like an interactive experience than a game with like any kind of, goal or really like typical kind of game mechanics. It's pretty unique. It's basically just you playing as this little girl wandering around these crazy, surreal dreamscapes. And you can find all of these strange creatures and strange imagery, and occasionally you can pick up items that you can use for various effects. There isn't really any kind of plot or anything. It's just kind of the exploration is the point. Dream Diary, yeah. Yeah, so there's just all of these different strange landscapes. There's a bunch of different doors that lead into different areas, and you just kind of walk around them. And that's just kind of it. There is a little bit of an end game that I did end up doing on stream with with the help of a bunch of chatters who came in to give me hints. And actually also with the help of a guide. I literally ended up looking up a guide for this because I was like, there's no way. Well, I could potentially find all of this stuff on my own, but it would require just like hours of me aimlessly wandering around until I find things. And I figured that would just not be fun for anyone. But yeah, it's... Are those ghosts in the game? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what any of this is supposed to be, really. What does it mean? It is all a mystery. But yeah, you can definitely see how a lot of games took inspiration from this kind of thing. I've definitely played games that had similar sort of like dream worlds. The most kind of direct comparison that I can make is definitely Amori, that has a lot of very similar kind of elements to this. And it's just interesting to see where that comes from and how Amori in particular is what I usually think of when I see this, how that kind of built on those ideas. Yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, less a game and more just kind of sit and chill. And it is pretty chill. It's not really, I think it's technically considered a horror, but it's like not really that scary in my opinion. It's just kind of bizarre and surreal. I guess one little clip that I have from here is at one point I was trying to get through a door without killing the creature that was guarding it, and that was like a whole saga. Because there was this one little guy that was standing in front of a door that I really wanted to get into. And I was trying to figure out how to do it without resorting to violence. So I just kept coming back here and trying different things.
I'm so sorry. Can I get it out in any other way? I don't want to do this. Oh wait, there's one thing I saw.
Yeah, I do remember the violence dilemma. A little bit.
The cat
I think,
attracts creatures. Ha! I don't have to.
I'm trying to remember how that got resolved, but I do remember just the mosh pit or whatever.
Yep.
Like this mosh pit right here.
Yep. So I finally figured out how to get it to move without hurting it, and then it just ended up in
doing
here.
Murder.
These guys just like move randomly.
Oh,
And then
the creature is back.
Enough to get through? Probably not. No violence.
So yeah, I didn't end up really getting to do anything here. Apparently this room can be used for like grinding to get some kind of material that these guys sometimes drop, apparently. But yeah, I ended up not doing violence. I did end up doing some violence later, but for the most part I was trying not to do violence in this game. Because like, it really isn't you know, a game where you can, you know, get any kind of, or where you have like traditional enemies that are like trying to fight you and stuff. Like occasionally things would come after you, and occasionally if something touched you, you would like get teleported somewhere. But for the most part, the creatures here were just like kind of harmless, and I just felt bad trying to kill them. Like you can murder basically anything in this game, but I just really didn't want to. Um,
Interesting when you say like it's not necessarily a game, because it's like I think we've had this eternal debate over like walking simulators as like a first an insult and then just a genre on its own.
yeah, I feel like
And
this
I don't
could
know.
be classified as something like a walking simulator, to be honest, where you just kind of
Yeah,
walk around and explore things, and that's the whole
you
point.
kind of walk around, and there's almost, you know, honestly, one of the whole things with like walking simulator as a quote unquote, it's like, okay, I mean, most games are walking simulators. You can just usually do other stuff besides walk as well. But usually you are doing the same mechanics of you are walking to a place that the game wants you to go and doing a thing there to advance the plot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely like an atmospheric experience, and like it seemed like there were people joining the chat who were like, this is a game they vibe with so much, and they're just like, oh hey, someone is playing this game, let's enjoy the vibe, which was
Yeah, for
a
sure.
cool thing to see from the outside.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that a lot of people are really into, and, you know, still has a very devoted fan base after however many years. Like, what did it say the game was from, like 2004 or something? I don't
Mhm.
remember what the start screen said, but it is a pretty old game. Um, and it's definitely inspired a lot of other creators, and it's definitely still kind of maintained a bit of a fan base. Um, People have also mentioned that there are a lot of fan games and stuff, and I don't know if there's mods specifically, but like various fan projects that, you know, people have made inspired by this game. So that's really cool to see, yeah. Um, let's give our next cup of tea a try, I guess. Yeah, I do think this one is getting stronger. I quite like it. It just tastes very sweet. I haven't put any sugar in it, but it just has this like hmm. Again, I'm not very good with like flavor profile stuff, but yeah, it does have just like a sweet taste to it. Um, but like light, you know, it is still very kind of mild. It's nice. I am quite enjoying it. And yeah, like it doesn't have any of the kind of bitterness or like astringency that you get with some like most black teas and stuff. It's just kind of very soft and sweet and nice. Let's try to see if we can get a little bit more intense. Let's do a 30-second brew.
I'm just sort of imagining you've got like a rice cooker and you're just like putting tea leaves in there and just pressing a timer and just like,
No,
that's probably how tea works, right?
I actually just have a clock that I'm looking at the time on. Very low tech here. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen you know, Guy One brewing before, but basically it's like a cup with a lid. So you have the tea leaves in there, and then you pour the water in there, and then after a certain period of time, you like use the lid to strain out the water into your cup. And then you can do that over and over. I also have an extra strainer to strain out all of the little bits that still get through. Anyway, on to our next game. This one I started for Spooktober. This was our first game of October last year. This is Strange Horticulture. And it's also just kind of a comfy vibe sort of game. Basically, you are the owner of a spooky little plant shop in a spooky little town. And you have a whole bunch of different plants that can have all sorts of different effects. Some of them more mundane, some of them more magical. And basically a lot of the game is about identifying which plants you need for given requests. So characters will come up and talk to you about their problems and tell you stuff, and then you'll have to get them the plant that they need. And occasionally you even can make a decision of which plant to give them if, like, there are multiple different options. And those options can actually affect the outcome of the game. This game does have multiple routes. And there is kind of an overarching storyline with some mysterious goings-on that have been happening in your town. But yeah, it's very atmospheric, very cozy. I think the pumpkins were actually, so Witchcraft Simulator, basically, yeah. I think the pumpkins were actually added for the spooky season specifically. I think they're literally there because I was playing the game in October, which is kind of funny. But yeah, those pumpkins are just there for like decoration. Yeah, I really like just the overall aesthetic of this game. It really does that kind of cozy but slightly spooky and like witchy kind of vibe very well. And one of the interesting things about this game is that it's very like, you kind of have to do everything very manually. It's very kind of tactile in that sense, where you have like a book that you can reference and you literally have to like leaf through it to find the reference that you need, and you have to actually organize your plants up on the shelf. And that can get a little bit frustrating because there aren't really convenient shortcuts to do things. But like, I understand that that's kind of the part of the point of the game. That's like the vibe, the aesthetic. It's almost like meditative, where you have to move all of your things around. Yeah. Cool game. There is also, as you can see, a cat. You can pet the cat. Very important. Yeah, I don't know. What else do I want to say about this game? It is just very, very cozy. Very witchy. There's a good little Spooktober game. I feel like I don't have a lot to say about it. I did end up seeing 2 of the different endings, but there's definitely still more different content that I ended up kind of missing. In particular, I think it's just that getting some of the other routes would require going back and like replaying basically the entire game. So I didn't want to get too carried away with that. But it does have various little like puzzles where sometimes you have a clue, and if you follow that clue and like do the right things, then you can unlock new plants or like new information about plants and all of that good stuff. So yeah. It's kind of a vibe. I do really like the art style and the aesthetic. And here, can you like hear the rain sounds and stuff?
Check out some of our other items. Whoa. Okay. So that allows us to explore things.
Yeah, I don't have like specific highlights for this game or anything, but
Thought it
yeah, it just has
health went to 0. We just
Sorry?
kind of temporarily. I liked when our health went to 0 and we just kind of like temporarily broke our mind.
Yeah. Spooky things can happen in this game.
Why do we need the items on this screen?
But yeah, Nice game, pretty short. I don't have like a ton of stuff to say about it, but it was just nice, you know? It's nice, it's cozy, especially with like the little rain vibe, which isn't every day. Like some of the days the weather is different and whatnot. Um and yeah, there's just all of these like quirky, weird little characters that come in and like say stuff to you. Um and yeah, I guess that's I don't really have a lot more to say about this game. It's just like,
Like a good escapist game so that you can
yeah,
get
you're
away
just,
from your haunted tea shop
yeah,
to be at a haunted plant shop instead.
exactly. And
Very
honestly, I
different
think
from
this
your
this
normal
plant
day to
shop isn't
day.
even haunted. It just has some spooky
Probably
plants in it.
not.
It's fine.
There were just a few magic things, really.
Yeah, just a couple.
Just a couple.
All right, let's check out our next cup of tea, I guess. I don't know, is there anything else that I missed about this game? Not really. It's just, I feel like it would be a nice game to just kind of sit down and like, wrap yourself up in a blanket and just have a good time, like organizing your plants. Yeah, the tea is kind of still continuing to get stronger. So this tea actually came in a tea cake, which means that the leaves were like tightly pressed together. So as you brew it, it kind of loosens it up and allows you to get more flavors out of it. I mean, that's generally true of most teas, not just the ones that are in the tea cake, but like they usually come, all rolled up and they need to expand as they gradually release their flavors. So yeah, I wouldn't say this one was like one of my favorite teas. It is a little bit bland, um, but it's nice.
You got, is this still the white tea?
Yep, it's still the white tea.
So
I'll be
maybe
drinking
the
it for
other
a
one will
while,
be.
and then yeah, for sure, the black tea will definitely be very different. Oh my gosh, is that those cat prints? Is my cat been tracking some kind of dirt all over my desk? All right, what were we at? We at 30 seconds last time? Let's go
I
for,
believe so, yeah.
yeah. Let's do a 45. I think we'll do like a 45 and then a minute, and then that maybe after that we'll switch to the other one. All right. So let's get our next game up. Hello, Sancho's. Blocking YouTube is absolutely impossible. You mean you have YouTube blocked, or like, someone blocked YouTube like on your computers or something? All right, our next game is the one, the only. Let's see if it'll load. Slay the Princess. All right, let's get our tea ready here. I'm probably going to need to take a bathroom break at some point during this.
Who could have predicted drinking this much tea would cause problems?
It's fine.
It's fine.
My internet is working like a piece of crap. Well, I hope it cooperates. Slay the Princess. Oh man, I have a lot to say about this game. So this game is about basically what you would expect. I'm not really sure how I'm going to talk about this game without spoiling things, because I just feel like the best way to experience it is by going in as blind as humanly possible, which is what I did, and I think I had a very good experience. I mean, the kind of the obvious setup is that you are here to slay a princess. There's a princess. She is, as you can see, chained up in a dungeon, and it's your job to kill her. Sounds pretty simple, right? So
In and out.
this is a horror visual novel. Basically, you go and make various dialogue decisions that will affect the course of the story. And I gotta say, this game is a literal masterpiece. Like, what else can I say about it? Everything about it is, in my opinion, pretty incredible. The art is breathtaking. I think it's all like hand drawn with pencil. And I think some parts are like colored a little bit, but for the most part, it's just kind of pencil art. The voice acting is something else. So again, I don't want to spoil too much about the game, but there it is fully voice acted, and all of the characters are played by two voice actors, and they both knock it out of the park. For anyone who has who's into the Magnus archives, one of those voice actors is Jonathan Sims. So you may have heard of him from, at least I've heard of him from the Magnus archives, although I haven't actually listened to that at all, but you know, it's something that I've heard of at least. And yeah, just the overall like setup and mechanics of this game are just really unique and really fascinating. I remember when I first saw it on Steam, I was really surprised to see that they recommended it as like similar to the Stanley Parable. I was like, what the heck? How does that work? But like having played the game, I get it. Uh, it's really, really interesting. And yeah, just in general, the writing, the dialogue is like, it can be funny and thought-provoking and emotional and just like really evocative. It's just every aspect of this game, I think, is just done to perfection. Like, I don't know how else to explain how fucking amazing this game is. Like, it is a horror game, so, you know, I can't necessarily go around recommending it to literally everyone, because I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but goddamn do I want to. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Like, if you have any stomach at all for horror, I think this game is 1000% worth braving the horrors for. It's so good. Oh my god. Yeah, it's really unique. It's really funny and engaging and like philosophical. I'm afraid of saying too much to like spoil the game, because there are so many surprises. Like, obviously this is kind of a branching paths kind of game where, you know, a lot of the game is about discovering the different routes. And I just have to say that the amount of branching in this game is absolutely insane. It goes places, is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, what a game. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite game that I've ever played on the channel, just because the competition is very steep. There are a lot of great games that I've played here, but I will say that it's probably the most memorable. Like, when I think of cool games that I've played on this channel, this one is probably the first that comes to mind. It is just so freaking cool. And I have to say, it will be back. The Pristine Cut is releasing sometime this fall, apparently. So the game originally released last October, and I actually played it like the day after it was released. Hey guys, welcome to the stream. But yeah, I suspect that the Pristine Cut is probably gonna come out around the time of the anniversary. So maybe in like October of this year. Yeah, you better believe I'm going to be playing that. So, yeah, Slay the Princess will be back. Man, what a good game. I don't know, what else can I say about it without spoiling things? Just, I don't know, just everything about it is so good. Yeah. I don't want to sound like a broken record and just be like, everything is good. But yeah, it just is. I don't know, did I miss anything important about Slay the Princess that you guys need to know? I don't know. I don't know what else I can say about it. Just go play Slay the Princess. I love your VTuber model. Thank you so much. I made it myself, and I'm very proud of it. Happy 1 year. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm not going to be showing any clips of this one. I mean, apart from the beginning here, because again, I am really afraid of spoiling anything for you guys. It's such a good game. Such a good freaking game. Love your streams. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to hear that. All right, let's, I guess, try our next cup of tea. The color is continuing to get darker. It started out very light. Now it's kind of like a lightish brown. Like it's still probably lighter than a black tea. And it's more of a yellowish tone, I feel like. Like most black teas are kind of reddish, while this one is more kind of brown. Let's give it a try, I guess. You know what? Maybe I will just show you guys the beginning of this game with sound so that you guys can hear what the game actually sounds like.
Thing of that path. It's really fun.
Oh, by the way, actually, one thing that I want to mention about this game. So at one point, I think it was Markiplier started a playthrough of it, which, you know, since he's super popular, it got a lot of views. And the devs actually commented that they would really prefer people try the game for themselves before watching things. And they encouraged people to pirate the game if they couldn't pay for it. They were like, we really want you to try it for yourself. Even if you have to pirate it, like, that's fine. Just do it. So I thought that was quite funny. So yeah, if anyone is interested in the game, but wants to try it themselves instead of watching me play it, go ahead and do that. You have the devs' permission to pirate if you so need to.
Hero and
You're
the
on a
princess.
path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the
I'm not
end
sure
of
the
the
sound is coming through all that loud. Maybe that's just me.
Okay, already starting with options. Oh, whoa, what?
Is that better?
What? That's a lot of options.
That is better.
The end of the world, what are you talking about? Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? That's, you know, a reasonable point. So are these all going to be completely different routes, or is it just, you know, dialogue options? Killing a princess seems kind of bad though, doesn't it? Can someone else do this? That's an excellent question. Like, who the heck is this character I'm playing as? Who am I? Why am I the one doing this? And who is this narrator voice in my head? Forget it, I'm not doing this. Oh boy. Have you considered that maybe...
All right, I think I spend a long while sorting through my options here. So let's maybe move on to...
Would it be a Stanley Parable if you didn't spend a long time going through your options?
I don't know. I feel like in the Stanley Parable, I just kind of go and do kind of the opposite of what the narrator told me. Well, not necessarily always. Eventually, at some point, you have to try following the narrator. But yeah, let's go ahead and put in our 1 minute tea. All right, in the meantime, let's, I guess, get our new game loading. So after Slay the Princess, we have, oh boy, better put this back to the start. We have A Space for the Unbound. Waiting for my tea again. At least there's no skip button. Well, if you mean in the Slay the Princess, there is a skip button, which I do use eventually when I, go through the various different routes and have to skip through dialogue that I've already seen. But yeah, oh, okay, here we go. Our tea is ready. Let's go strain that. So yeah, our next game here is A Space for the Unbound. How do I describe this game? I'm almost even afraid to play the beginning here, because it's, well, no, it's not. I mean, I guess technically it's spoilers, but like it's the first few minutes spoilers. It's fine. You guys can live. Anyway, what was I saying about it? Yeah, how do I describe A Space for the Unbound? Again, without trying to spoil things. It's very kind of surreal and mind-bendy. So it is set, supposedly at least, in rural Indonesia in the 1990s, and you are a high schooler with, who's just kind of hanging out with his girlfriend and doing stuff. Meanwhile, things around you are getting kind of mysterious. There are strange happenings, and the world is maybe sort of kind of unraveling. Again, it's really hard to describe without spoiling things. But yeah, I mean, personally, I am super into this kind of like surreal mindfuckery kind of stuff. It's almost like, Alice in Wonderlandy, where it's like strange and whimsical and you don't really know what's real. Mouse with Cheese, sup? Hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, I don't know. What else do I say about Space for the Unbound? I enjoyed this game a whole lot.
And there are cats.
The world is ending and there are cats. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I thought it was a really great game. Honestly, I think the most fun part about this game was just kind of theorizing about things with everyone. So we had some folks hanging out in chat and like trying to come up with crazy theories about like all of this weird shit that was happening and just kind of trying to piece together what was real and why things were happening the way they were happening and like, what was causing all of this. So yeah, there was a lot of discussion about game theories, and I had a great time with that. Yeah, overall in general, it's just a very nice game. It has really good art, really good music. Yeah, and just a really good story, which again, I'm like trying not to spoil shit. Yeah, what else should I say about A Space for the Unbound? Yeah, it's my thing. I love this kind of, just general life. It's very much something that I enjoy in my game. I guess I should probably mention about kind of the gameplay. It's just kind of you walk around the town and interact with things and like yeah, it's pretty simple standard stuff. There are some like little mini game things that again I don't want to spoil. But yeah, here, let me fast forward a little bit to where you're just kind of walking around and interacting with things. This is what kind of the game generally looks like. Yeah. I don't know. What else do I want to say about it? Also, YouTube is in yellow mode. Is everything okay on the stream? Hopefully. Yellow is generally fine, but just want to check in. Can people see things okay? All right, what else?
I'm seeing a decent delay, but it's not hurting the stream, I think. Quality's kind of whatever.
All right. Well, I hope it's okay. What else do I want to say about the Space for the Unbound? Yeah, there's just a lot of crazy shit that happens. Some in a funny way, some in more of a dramatic way. Yeah, it's honestly probably one of my favorite games that I've played on the channel. I had a great time with it, especially when it comes to just kind of trying to put together the mysteries. Yeah, really good game. I think it was the first game on the channel that like made me actually cry. So yeah, I guess voice cut out for a second, but it's fine now. Okay. Well, let me know if anything else goes wrong. I don't know if I'll be able to fix it, but I can try. Yeah. I guess let's try our next cup of tea. Yeah, I think this turned out kind of the same as the previous one. They're going with all those pleases. I don't know. Is there something in particular that I want to show from this game? This is also one where it's like showing things is kind of risking spoilers too much a little bit.
So many spoilers.
Yeah, it's just kind of the nature of the game, just because there is so much mystery and so much just kind of uncertainty.
So many layers.
Yeah. What's real? What isn't? You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I would be really curious with this tea to see what would happen if I tried brewing it up like extra strong. That might be something to try later.
Tea shots. You just like put in a little shot glass.
All right. Do I want to... What were we at? We did a minute last time?
Lost track.
Or was it at 45 seconds? I guess let's do one more of this.
45 seconds. I think.
All right, let's do one more of this, and then we can switch to the other one. Okay, so we'll do a 1 minute. All right, so there's a space for the Unbound. The next one we have is something a little bit weird. Well, not weird, but definitely kind of unusual. This is If on a Winter's Night for Travelers. And this is a very small game. It's free and it's short, and I think it was like 2 episodes of stream. 2-year anniversary. Will this stream be on it? No,
Anniversary
probably not,
section.
but there will certainly be a lot of new games. Okay, so I think that's about it for our minute. Oh, I forgot to put my filter on. Oops. Oh well. This cup is going to have a little bit of extra debris in it.
It's
That's okay.
probably fine.
It's fine, yeah.
It's fine.
So yeah, I guess the first thing you kind of notice about this game is the pixel art is absolutely gorgeous. Just look at this stuff. Look at the detail on this train and on that smoke and on these masks and everything. I think you can see me with my cursor trying to look at all of it right now. Yeah, it's a short, very kind of atmospheric, dark sort of game. It's the way it's kind of advertised is it's set on a like a fancy it's like a fancy party on a train set in like the 1920s, and it's very kind of dark and spooky, and there's 4 characters, and they each have their own little like story that you get to experience as like the 4 chapters of the game. Yeah, I will say this one was a little bit mixed. I feel like I there it says that there are 4 chapters, but to be honest, 2 of them were just really short, so there just wasn't a whole lot of content there. Of the remaining 2, I think one was like okay for me, but it just wasn't really my vibe. I think it was a little bit too dark and gritty and depressing for me. But the other one of these 4 chapters, I actually really, really enjoyed. I thought it was very cool. It was just very spooky and like melancholy, and it also had kind of that element of like kind of unreality, and like delusion, I guess. And it was just beautiful. I mean, I guess also look at just these visuals here. Look at that train. That's gorgeous. I love cool pixel art. Look at the lighting on these snowbanks here. The reflection of the light from the train. It's so pretty. This game is so pretty. So yeah, as you can see, it's a very spooky train kind of situation. Um,
For
so
a
yeah,
mystery. Spooky train.
spooky train. Yeah.
Spooky train.
Yeah. So yeah, I will say my experience with this was a little, I don't know if I would say it was mixed, but like there was that one part that I really enjoyed, and the rest was like fine, I guess. But that said, it is a free game. It is very short. Like I think it took me longer than it would normally take people just because I was reading out all of the dialogue. But yeah, you can definitely go pick it up yourself and just try it out if you're interested. Um, yeah, the art, of course, is really, really pretty. And yeah, I was gonna say, oh right, the gameplay is kind of like a point and click, sort of like an escape roomy type of situation where there's things that you have to interact with in order to advance the plot, and like little kind of puzzles to solve. So yeah, it does have some of the troubles that such games tend to have, where sometimes if you like miss clicking on something, then you might end up getting stuck for a while and like not be able to proceed until you find that one like specific thing to interact with. Um, but yeah, the stories are pretty interesting, but again, like 2 of them were just kind of disappointingly short. But yeah, like the vibe and atmosphere, very cool. I mean, look at this fancy hotel room in like 1920s. What is this, in like Rome or something? I don't know. There's somewhere super fancy. yeah, it's definitely a cool game. Even if I feel like it had some sort of like missed potential. Here, you know what? I don't want to spoil things again, but I'm gonna go fast forward to the second chapter, which was my favorite. Um, but yeah, just look at this. Look at this vibe. Just the lighting in here and the moody atmosphere. Here, let's turn on the sound so you can just like spooky piano music happening in the background. I just love like the lighting on the curtains and on this object
So
here.
great. I love the lighting on this cloth. Great.
I'm just echoing myself here.
Have I been sleeping? It's dark. My medicine keeps the nightmares at bay. But there's not much left.
So yeah, this is the kind of vibe that you get with this
Time is
game.
a flat circle.
Yep. It's a game I would play 100%. Definitely check it out. I mean, there's my stream, obviously, but if you want, it is free, so you can just do it yourself. That is also an option.
But there used to be faces here.
So yeah, it's just all like spooky and kind of...
How long has it been raining? What day is this?
Yeah, just very, like... depressing, I guess. But, like, in a good way, I guess? That is just very intriguing. Like, you want to know what the situation is here. Like, why is everything so sad? Why is everything, like, covered and draped? You know? So yeah, this was my personal favorite chapter of the game. But yeah, it was a cool experience. Very atmospheric. Alright. Yeah, I guess that's kind of all I have to say about this game. Again, it's very, very small, very short. It's a cool game. It's definitely one of the most, like, obscure ones that I've played on this channel. Reminds me of To the Moon, but dark and gloomy. A little bit, yeah. To be honest, I would say, if you like To the Moon, I think the most similar thing to it is actually probably A Space for the Unbound. If you like To the Moon, you should definitely try that one out. All right, let's try our next cup of tea, I guess. You know, I can leave this running while I drink my tea. Although, is that kind of spoilers? That's a little bit spoilers. But, you know, hopefully it won't be on for too long. All right. I think I do kind of need to use the bathroom at this point. So, let's take a quick break. I'll also take this time to switch out my tea, so we can try the black tea as well. Actually, so the black tea needs slightly higher temperature, so I'm gonna set that. All right. I do have a fancy tea kettle that can adjust the temperature, so I'm gonna set it a little bit higher and let it heat up. In the meantime, I'm gonna go put you guys on break, and yeah, see you in a little bit. Whoops. Hello guys, I'm back. Let's get our next tea going. Oops. Oh, is that too much? Okay. There we go. So this is the black tea, and it smells kind of amazing. All right. So let's start with, oh, here. Yeah, let's start with the 10-second wash real quick. You guys like the music? Spent a while picking it out. Wait, shit. I forget when I started the timer.
It's probably fine. I'm sure tea doesn't need exact.
Yeah, I mean, it is fine, especially
seepage.
since I'm just doing the wash anyway. And I poured it into the wrong cup. It's fine. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's all fine. Huh, weird. This tea, like, leaves a little bit of a weird residue in my strainer. All right,
Oh no,
let's do
is
the
the tea
actual one.
cursed?
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
Don't worry about it. Just hoping it doesn't, like, clog up the strainer or anything. In which case I'd probably have to go
It's fine.
go wash it in the middle of the stream, but it's fine. It's fine. All right. Can I have some? Sure. Yeah. You can reach through the screen. Here you go. I can pour you a cup. All right. Let's get our next game going. How are we on time, by the way? We're not very good on time, I don't think. Oh boy, we have a lot of games to get through. The next game we've got is Greece, or however the heck you pronounce it. I don't have a lot to say about this one just because it's pretty self-explanatory. It is a puzzle platformer where, like, you kind of explore the stages of grief, basically. You start out in like a black and white world and gradually bring color back to it. And it's absolutely beautiful. Like, what more do I really have to say about it? It's just a beautiful experience. The visuals are beautiful. The character animation is just super fluid. The music is great. Just, what else do I have to say, really? I mean, I'm not very good at it, but, you know, it was still a great experience. Well, to be honest, I think part of my struggle was just the game lagging, because I don't think my computer could really handle streaming this game very well. But yeah, just look at even how the dress flows. The animations are so incredibly well done. And just all of the landscapes and the color work and just everything about this presentation is pretty incredible. I mean, I knew that going into the game. Like, this is a pretty well-known game in, you know, indie gaming circles. It's known for being super gorgeous. But, like, I was still honestly pretty blown away. Like, I think some of... Like I was familiar with some of the areas that you could see, like, in the promo materials, but some of the later areas, I feel like, were, like, even more gorgeous. So it's, like, the opposite of Omori. I don't know if I would say opposite, really. They're not really analogous. Like, they both kind of deal with grief and, like, mental health kind of issues, just in very different ways. Um, I mean, yeah, it's really just an absolutely beautiful game. I don't know if I really have much else to say about it. Like it hmm. It is one of those things that's just an experience. Like you play it and you just feel at peace and let the beauty of it wash over you. And it's just beautiful. And it's just like it's art. Like uh, yeah, it's a beautiful work of art. That's really all I have to say about this game. Um yeah, it was surprisingly tough, like harder than I expected it to be. And I did also try to get some of the extra challenges, so that was extra tough. But yeah, it's just a really kind of incredible game. The more it goes from colorful and normal to what the fuck is this? Um yeah, I guess to some extent. I think they use color in very different ways. Like in Amori, the color is kind of um it's a fantasy. It's like an escape. It's an imaginary world where everything is okay. But it's not real, you know? Um, but yeah, such a good game. Just the the visuals are incredible. Just really. I'm just enjoying watching this right now. Like even the composition, the way it will like you can kind of see it moving the camera out where the character gets really really tiny in the middle of the screen. Just the way it plays with the framing of your character is also just really beautiful. Look at that contrast of the dark character on the red background. It just every single visual in this game is just so deliberately placed and so well thought out. Like it's just all perfectly arranged. Like nothing here is random. It's just designed to look as beautiful as possible in any given moment. And I think that's really awesome. Yeah, just an incredible game. Just look at this. And again, this isn't even the impressive part. Like this is the very start of the game. It gets way crazier than this. So good. Yeah, yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to say. Just look at it. This is definitely one of those cases where a picture is worth 1,000 words. Like this isn't a game that uses words. This is just a game that uses its visuals, and the visuals are absolutely stunning. Well, I mean, it's not just visuals. There's sound as well. We can listen to it. I'm probably going to be talking about how beautiful it is.
Do I want to just jump down? Or am I going to screw myself over again?
Well, I guess you can't really hear much sound in this particular part. Um, but yeah, what a good game.
Always got to go back first to see if there's anything.
Lee writes down game name to see if I can play it later. Definitely check it out. It's so good. Like, definitely one of my top games that I've played here.
I think that probably did something.
And yeah, man, this tea is definitely very different than the previous one. It also tastes really sweet. Like, even immediately from this brewing, I'm actually a little bit worried that it's going to get too strong for me in the later ones, that it might get too bitter,
Endurance test.
but we'll see. Hmm. Yeah, this one's it's definitely really fruity. I don't know if I can remember the music during storms being really nice. Yeah, I did play a little bit of this during one of the test streams. Um, yeah, just overall the presentation of this game is so cool.
I mean, we heard the storm music a lot.
Yeah, I struggled a lot during the storm section. It also has some like kind of floral taste to it as well. Hmm. It's good, but I'm worried that the fact that it's already this strong on the first steep, it does not bode well. So we'll see. Maybe I just have to brew this one as gently as possible. Yeah, like it already has like a slight bit of bitterness, but the taste is very nice. All right, let's go for 15-second. Also, I forgot to mention the tea leaves are like really fluffy. It's like rolled up into little like tubes, and they're like golden and fuzzy and really cute. Huh. Sniffing this second cup, and it also just smells really interesting. Almost like buttered toast.
Huh.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out. It's a really interesting tea so far, though. It does have some like astringency, though, which I'm not a fan of. But that is pretty common with black teas.
Mhm.
All right, I guess moving on to A Date with Death. Oh, wait, where are we seeing this? That shouldn't be until later. This is the first episode, right? Okay, so this is also one of the kind of short free games that I tried out on this channel, and it's a visual novel about flirting with the Grim Reaper and maybe sort of kind of cheating your way out of death. It's it's definitely a fun one. Personally, I feel like I wasn't as into like the romance part of it because the the relationship is built a lot on like teasing each other and messing with each other and generally like absolutely bullying this poor defenseless anime boy.
We did not get a lot of options to be genuinely nice to the anime boy.
I know. Yeah, it's a dating sim. It's like I get how that's, you know, the romantic tension, but it's just like not really my vibe in a dating situation. That said, I still found this game super funny. It yeah, like the Grim Reaper guy is really cute and he is very funny, and there were definitely some very sweet moments. Like, yeah, I wasn't super into the whole romance thing, but it was still pretty nice. And again, like it was a very funny game. And actually, we did get some of did we get all of the endings, or at least like most of them? And some of the bad endings were actually like surprisingly pretty emotional. Like
Yeah,
there was some good stuff.
Yeah, I remember some genuinely heartfelt moments, and I guess
Yeah.
just like not to spoil, but like yeah, there was some real heart in there.
Yeah. So yeah, good game. It's definitely had a lot of silliness in it. Um, definitely was a lot of like, it's very memey. He's not Neil. Yeah, this is a very much a game that has a lot of like memes and just ridiculous shit and like tormenting this awkward kind of weird little white-haired anime boy Grim Reaper. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's one example. We have I've got a link to you'll see. Homestuck reference. Oh my god, come on. Load, please. Game. Or rather not game, YouTube.
Hate to break it to you guys, but I am a longtime Homestuck. You know what you are, yep. You're one of those things. A Homestuck. I love how it's just a Homestuck. Amazing. What in the 9 circles of hell is a Homestuck? Oh,
Homestuck
buddy.
references.
The entire game just pivots. Like a 9-hour conversation and me just explaining Homestuck to this guy. And by the end, he's just like, you know what? No. I am out of this conversation. This is not happening. It's not worth it. Oh, you really don't.
So yeah, as you can tell, I was having a lot of fun with this game. Not the only time this game made me laugh like crazy. It was definitely a lot of fun. Um, do I have anything else to say about this game? Yeah, it's just a lot of just crazy silliness like this. Weird references and like just this guy doesn't really know anything about memes or internet culture, so you get the honor of inflicting that on him. It's a good time.
Good times.
Yeah, let's see. Was there anything else that we need to mention about this game? Yeah, it's just a lot of silliness and a lot of laughs. I thought it was very good. And it's free too. Like this whole thing is free. So good on them. That makes this way better. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good game. All right. After that, we're pivoting to something completely different, but let me drink this tea first.
Now for something completely different.
Definitely getting more floral. It's interesting.
Floral as a taste note is interesting because it's like there are a lot of flowers.
Yeah,
there are just a lot of flowers.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily very good at like differentiating between them. Well, there are a lot of flowers, but there aren't a ton that are like commonly eaten slash
True.
drank.
True. It's kind of like who was licking these flowers to decide what was a floral taste.
Well, I mean, like, flower teas are not uncommon. Like, rose tea is definitely
Flower
very
tea.
much of a thing.
Oh, definitely. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
are they distinct enough from each other that you kind of get this, like, averaging, like, what is floral? What is the archetypal
Yeah.
floral drink?
But yeah, I mean, this is what kind of I associate with like floral tastes or scents.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think scent is a lot to do with it because they're so closely linked
Yeah.
that if, you know,
Oh, yeah.
something tastes the way that flowers smell, then it's considered floral.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of like not really what I was expecting from this tea. It just like took a turn real fast. Because I feel like I don't really associate that with black teas a lot. Gotta go chase out the alligator in my house? What? I mean, good luck with that, but wow.
Yeah.
Alligator in your house. All right, let's do our 15-second steep. And I think at some point I might actually need to go refill my kettle. I'm actually running a little bit low on water. You live in Florida. Yeah, that explains a lot.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Oh, let me not forget my strainer this time. All right. Well, let's let that cool down a little bit while we move on to our next game, which is, well, kind of a little bit of a two-for-one, I guess.
Transition.
But turn off the sound a little bit. Let's scroll it back to the beginning. Yeah, so this is In Stars and Time plus the prologue, Start Again. Yeah, it's a game that it's relatively recent, but I have heard some things about it before starting out. And yeah, it is an RPG with a time loop where basically, you know, you have to fight your way through a dungeon, beat the boss and whatnot. And I mean, I guess time loopy mechanics are kind of a given in RPGs, given that you can die over and over, but you know, there are some that make it more explicit than others. And in this one, you dying and restarting is very much an explicit part of the game. And yeah, it can be pretty dark. Honestly, I think this game does a very good job of balancing the like cute, wholesome stuff with trauma time. But yeah, a lot of it is very much like you have been dying over and over again. And like it can be annoying when like characters don't communicate, don't like talk to each other about important things, like, you know, being stuck in a time loop. But I feel like in this case, it just the main character is just exactly the like right / wrong kind of person for this, where you're just like, yeah, they would literally never ever do that, meaning like actually try to tell people about the time loop stuff. In general, I think the characters in this are really great. Yeah, you definitely get a feel for what kind of person this protagonist is, and they're like trying really hard to be the one kind of keeping the team together, and they're like it's their like personal responsibility to like make sure to keep morale up and like do all their like silly puns and jokes and like make sure that everyone else is safe and having a good time. And then like if they make everyone worry, then it's the end of the world. You know? Like that kind of person. So yeah, it's a really good game. It's definitely made with a lot of heart. Um, the characters are super cute, super endearing, and they do have a lot of like just very, very sweet moments. Um, and yeah, you get to see horrible things happen to them sometimes. Well, mostly the protagonist. Everyone else is usually fine because, again, the protagonist tries his very best to make sure that he's the only one that terrible things are happening to. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cute game. You don't need to do the prologue to do the full game. I did the prologue first and then jumped into full game. But yeah, it's not really necessary. It's more of just kind of, you know, seeing where it all began, seeing kind of the prototype for this game. But yeah, they are each kind of very much standalone things. And it was interesting to see kind of how the mechanics developed, because you can see some of the things that they very much built on, and also some things that kind of didn't really make it into the final game. But yeah, it was a really good game. Also kind of one of my favorites. It's just, yeah, it just has a lot of really cute and heartwarming stuff. And it can make you feel good, but it can also tear your heart out and stomp it into a million pieces when it feels like. Yeah, you can definitely see the kind of progression as, you know, your protagonist continues to go through the horrors and goes from being like really optimistic, like, oh, I have this cool power, I can try again as many times as I want, through to like, you know, experiencing despair. And it's also not linear. Like there are ups and downs of like, you know, finding hope and then having it crushed and then over and over and over. Yeah, really good game. I will say, I think this game was probably, out of all of the games I played, the most fun to like do the voices for. Because I think that the characters are just that perfect level of being like kind of cartoony enough that you can look at a character and be like, oh, this is what I want the character to sound like, without them being like too, you know, goofy and over the top. Like they're still believable as characters and people. But yeah, they're just very fun and very endearing. And I had a great time going on this little adventure with all of them. Yeah, yeah, very much just feels like a passion project. Like there was a lot of love put into this game. The art is super cute. Let's see if we can check out some of the music. Here, we can even look at like the opening screen. This to be, well, I don't know. I love Sifrin's little face there. Such a little gremlin. Oh, and it shows their affinities too. Oh yeah, the combat system in this game is rock, paper, scissors based. So it's like an elemental affinity sort of thing where, you know, certain attack types are effective against certain characters and whatnot, except instead of elements, it's literally rock, paper, scissors. So that's kind of a fun little aspect. It is like a turn-based RPG, so you can get into fights with enemies and beat them up with the power of rock paper scissors. Yeah, it's just a really satisfying game, and there's a lot of hidden stuff in this game. Like there's a lot of different dialogue that you can get that depends on like what loop you're on, or like what specific events you've triggered, and like a lot of very specific little like object interactions and stuff that yeah, sometimes depend on like a lot of little small factors. So I was definitely trying to scour this game for as much hidden stuff as possible, and there was definitely a ton that I still missed. Like I get a lot of comments on these saying like from other people saying that like, oh, I've never seen this dialogue that you got, or like, oh, by the way, there was this thing that you missed here. So yeah, there's a lot of content in this game. There's just so much stuff. Um and yeah, it just really feels like a lot of effort was put into it, and a lot of kind of they really thought about the details. Um yeah, just a really cool game. Again, it has a lot of really, really cute moments. Yeah, it, it's just satisfying to watch this whole story play out, and to see all of its ups and downs, and to see the characters' relationships kind of develop, and to see the protagonist's whole mindset kind of change throughout the game, of like how they interact with the other characters and all of that stuff. And then of course the mysteries of like, it's almost finding the way to victory is like a puzzle, because there's always some kind of roadblock in the way that you have to figure out how to get past. And like there's a lot of mystery surrounding the main conflict and the main villain, and their motivations and stuff. So yeah, there's just a lot to discover. Yeah, really good game. um let's see if is there anything else that I need to say about it. um yeah, just super cute. I think it's the longest playthrough that I have on this entire channel, and it was just a great time. um yeah, lots and lots of good stuff. I do actually I'm hoping to revisit it a little bit later, because there was some stuff like post-game content that I kind of missed, and I've been meaning to make another special episode for it, but I kind of needed to replay the last little bit of it before I do that, and I just have never really gotten around to it. So yeah, I hopefully at some point, I know it's been forever at this point since I finished this playthrough, but maybe at some point I'll do one last special episode for it. Um, all right, up next we have, well, okay, let's do our tea first. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, this one is kind of more or less the same as the previous one. It does have like a little bit of the bitterness and astringency, but hopefully that might actually go down in the later steeps. So we'll see.
Not overly sweet yet, though. Question mark.
Not really.
It's good.
Yeah, it's still just kind of like somewhat floral.
Cool.
All right, we had what, the 15-second? Let's do 20. All right, I think after this one we might need to go refill the kettle. So I am running low on water. Okay. Got that one going. All right. Okay, next game. We've got the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
We finally did it. He's
Yep.
finally dead.
He's finally dead. Sonic the Hedgehog is dead.
Dead.
I have so much respect for this game. For the fact that they just made this whole game for an April Fool's joke. For people who don't know the story behind this, it was randomly dropped on April Fool's Day. They just like dropped a trailer that was like, Sonic the Hedgehog is dead, and then it was actually a real trailer for a real game that they just, I think, released that very same day. So it's just, I admire the dedication to the bit.
They were like, the platforming space, it's over, it's done, it's the visual novel sphere that's making the big bucks. Full pivot.
Yep. Man. So yeah, it is just kind of a mystery visual novel mostly, although there are some like Sonic-y segments. But yeah, you talk to characters, you investigate, you figure out who murdered Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, I very much came in. I remember this one was glitching towards the end and you had to do it a few times over. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one got a little bit crazy.
Let's do the time warp again.
Yep. Yeah, so I came in with no knowledge of Sonic the Hedgehog. So you guys might remember Luke was there giving me
Oh, yes.
Sonic the Hedgehog trivia.
The Sonic lore, the deep
Yep.
lore.
Yep.
Truly, there were some surprising references in The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like, okay, I would not have guessed you guys would be referencing that. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very entertaining. We had some fun times. And yeah, as mentioned, there were some glitches that happened here. I can go ahead and pull one up.
Yeah, I would say the glitches were probably the only thing that was genuinely frustrating. Like,
Yeah.
even as a free game, it's like, okay, they did a lot of nice stuff for accessibility, making sure that, like, you know, there were times when we just, you know, you were changing up the settings so that we could get through those
Yeah.
mind palace, what would Sonic do moments. But the glitches were being glitches unfixable. And so we had no choice but to start from the very beginning.
Yep.
Or from the last time we saved, and that was very unfun.
Yeah.
But yes, and the murder was redacted. I think that the mystery was well constructed. I like visual novel mysteries. I was personally very satisfied with the mystery.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I felt like they laid out the clues well.
guess I can just close the game.
And it was fun getting to go through and speculate and theorize.
Saved this entire time.
And I, yeah, as
Okay,
Talion
you know,
said, I am a fan of the Sonic franchise, so
Yeah, it's true.
I enjoyed
Probably
getting to
better
see the
actually
Sonic
do.
characters in this new format.
Oh, geez.
They use
is
the
not a whole
characters
lot
in the
of
setting
actual,
very
like,
well.
just
The
Alright,
the
yeah, I'm
setup
hopeless in the
for
game.
the murder mystery was very
Ooh.
fun and fitting with who these characters are as people.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, we ended up having to restart here, and I had not saved for the entire game. So
Nope.
we had to start from the very beginning again.
We were like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we could kind of speed through the dialogue.
Yes. Gotta go fast. Ha ha ha.
Yep. There's also I have another little highlight from here. Which was
Should I give the slot machine a try?
Talion's gambling addiction.
Let's pull the slots. Okay, let's see. Big bunny,
Yeah,
big
you
money.
got really fixated on that.
Well, I lost. Do I try again?
How long until the others give me an intervention?
I think they have will.
Tails is just watching.
Alien, what do you expect to happen if you keep playing?
So yeah, basically just kept going, trying to get as much
I'm gonna get
of
it
the
this time,
Tails
Lucy.
dialogue as I could. And I think he was getting very concerned.
But maybe next time I'll get it?
It's a hostile
This goes on for a while.
casino. It's designed to make you not want to leave.
Yeah. And see, the game tries to trick you by giving you the same dialogue every time, but I know it's counting.
You know better.
Oh yes, but it all
I
came
was
back
right, though.
around in the
You know
end,
the
remember?
definition of
Oh, yes.
We
insanity.
brought
Yes,
it
the
full
gambling
circle.
addiction paid off.
Right?
It paid off.
Savage
It's a lesson
Tails.
for you
I'm
kids. The
starting to get
gambling
worried
addiction.
here.
Yep.
Don't worry, Tails. I got it this time.
So yeah, that it went for a while. And then at the very end, yeah, we had more problems. We ended up running into the infinite running loop glitch like over and over and over again at the end, and then like at some point I think it wasn't me that accidentally broke the stream. I think OBS just like crashed on me. And we had to like
Oh,
restart
God,
the
yeah.
stream and everything. It was a whole crazy thing.
The whole thing. And that was just like because the end of the game, it didn't matter if we put on like infinite invincibility cheats. It literally would not let us get past it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and my computer was also freaking out because, you know, it just couldn't handle this, couldn't handle the graphics, I guess. So, like, I had to
Couldn't
turn
handle-
on, yeah, I had to turn on the cheats and, like, because it was, like, the inputs were, like, not responding properly. So I had to put it on, like, ultra easy mode, and then it was still not working because we had that freaking infinite loop glitch, and it was a whole crazy, crazy thing.
It was a whole thing. So if you want to play the game, watch out for that. Save
Yeah.
before any
Yeah,
mystery
make sure to
solving
save.
segment.
Yeah. But yeah, it was still a good time. It definitely got somewhat frustrating, but I think the ridiculousness of it all was also pretty entertaining. All right. I think I need to use the bathroom again because I've been drinking so much goddamn tea.
Because of the tea. I wonder if those are two connected things.
Yeah. All right. So I'll see you guys in a second. I'm back. I also refilled my tea kettle, so we can have more tea now.
More tea.
Although we'll have to wait for it to heat up, but it's fine. All right, let's have our next cup though. Oh man, I feel like we're kind of behind on the. Oh man, how far are we through the? We still have a lot of games to go through. Although a good chunk of it is To the Moon and its sequels, so we can probably roll those kind of into one. Hmm. I think the bitterness has sort of gone down somewhat. And also the floralness a little bit. Again, I'm not really good at this whole tasting stuff. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's more like... I think Sonic was the first gaming stream I watched here. Already 5 months. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sticking around for so long. It's been great having you in chat. Yes, tea is like... I don't know. I don't really know. It's like... kind of citrusy, maybe? Like it's kind of more on the fruity side than the floral side now. I don't really know how else to describe it.
Neat.
It's interesting that it seems to like change so much between brewings.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But yeah, we're gonna have to brew our next one in the next one though, because my new water is still heating up. So let's move on in the meantime. Up next, we have loading. We've got To the Moon. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. No, I did not want to go to the second episode. Come on. Yeah, To the Moon. Definitely another one that's kind of... that I've heard a lot about before streaming it. I very much knew what I was getting into, that this series is, like, known for being very emotional and, like, get your tissues ready, right? Yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. It's also kind of, point and click, walk around, like, interact with stuff, and, like, occasionally do puzzles, and just kind of try to figure out what's going on, I guess. So in this case, the premise is that you're playing as a pair of doctors who like go into people's memories, or specifically their clients are people who are like on their deathbed, and you're trying to fulfill their last wish. So they kind of give you an assignment, and you go into their memories, and you kind of basically you have to like make a link to their past by like traversing backwards through their memories. And once you have that, you do kind of like an Inception thing where you like change the memory by like inserting their desire for this like to fix this regret or whatever it is. And then we kind of rerun the simulation in their brain and like overwrite their memories so that they experience this like new life for themselves. Yeah, the series is just beautiful in every aspect. Yeah, it's a really good series. Yeah, I loved kind of getting to see the characters and their relationships. Like in all of the games, really, the romance is kind of a main focus on it, and I think it does a good job of like selling those relationships, and kind of showing, like, most of the time these clients are like, you know, elderly people who have lived their full life and like who have spent, you know, decades with their partner, and you get to go back through that whole long relationship. And yeah, it's just really, really beautiful. Um, yeah, again, trying to like talk sort of vaguely to not spoil things. I do think that in the first game, at least, like I was really invested in the client's story, but not so much in the story of like the protagonists until like towards the climax of the game. Um, but yeah, they definitely very much grew on me. They're very fun characters. Twists and unexpected things in this game are wild. Yeah, there's always something unexpected. Um, yeah, I think like kind of the climax of this game is where I really started to get invested in our like main doctors here. And then actually also the mini-sodes really helped to sell me on their story. If you're checking out this playthrough or playing the game yourself, definitely don't skip the To the Moon minisodes. Like you'd think that was just kind of like optional little like DLC content, but they're actually really important. So just keep that in mind. Make sure to check out the minisodes. Um, like they, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is kind of an overarching plot that goes through like all of the games. And like there wasn't as much of it in the first game, but yeah, like in the later games, I think I was really invested in that like kind of greater scope mystery. Yeah, I think the second game, Finding Paradise, did a really good job of taking all the good stuff from the first game and kind of building on it, and kind of expanding, you know, on our main our main like duo here and their relationship, and like the overarching main plot. And yeah, just there is some really crazy twists and stuff in this game, and a lot of course, really emotional moments. Um, like I would say, as much as I enjoyed To the Moon, I think it was probably my least favorite entry in the series. I just think the later games did such a good job of taking the great things about To the Moon and just making them even better. I gotta go, but this has been really cool. May check out some of these games out. Yeah, thanks for coming. Hope you had a good time. Yeah, I've played so many cool games on this channel. Like, I know I say that every single time I start a new game. I'm like, oh, I'm super excited for this game. It looks really cool. And like, I mean it. Like, I select these games specifically because I think they look really cool. Um, and that I think they're going to be an interesting experience. Yeah, anyway, what was I saying about To the Moon? Yeah, it's just really good. Their series has definitely made me cry. Um, yeah, there's just so many really good moments. So many just, you know, powerful relationships between the characters. And like in the end, I really do love our main two a lot. They're just really great. And their banter is really funny. Our boy Neil Watts here is absolutely hilarious. Like he's one of those characters that can be like kind of a dick sometimes and like kind of annoying, but that's kind of part of his charm, you know? Like he's just a huge dork. Yeah. Yeah, I love these characters a lot. Um, and yeah, I love how the game presents their stories. And I do like kind of the setup of going backwards through a person's life. And, you know, it does have a lot of mystery because obviously things are never simple, right? There's some kind of crazy twist and there's some like big mystery. And since you're starting kind of at the end, you don't have any of the context for it. So you just kind of fill in all of the blanks as you go. And yeah, it's just they're really beautiful games and really really goofy a lot of the time too. Um they have kind of a weird and wacky sense of humor. And just yeah, shit gets crazy. Um but yeah, we do kind of have to oh man, it's getting kind of late. Let's move forward with things. But yeah, To the Moon, great. Like the whole series. I was originally planning to just like play To the Moon and then do a break for something else and then come back to it later. But then like after I played the after I played those minisodes, I was like, no, I'm binging this entire thing. So I ended up just playing the entire series so far. It's not complete. There are more games in development. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, for now, I think we have to move on. What do we have up next? Up next, we have a short hike. I think I just needed a break from all of the crying. So yeah, this is more of a chill, cozy game. There's not like a ton of plot or anything to this. It's another game that's more kind of about the exploration and more about the gameplay. Yeah, let's go forward a little bit to when we actually get to the game. Just look at it. It's so cute. I love the colors. It's just so warm and just so relaxing. Look at that wind blowing through. It just looks so refreshing. This is just precious. Yeah. This was definitely kind of the definition of a cozy game. This is the kind of thing you play when you're like feeling down and you just want to relax and take your mind off things for a while and just enjoy some peace and warmth and comfort. It's just a nice game. Yeah, I guess I don't have a ton to say about it. The performance was surprisingly good. I feel like a lot of the times I have performance issues on this stream. I don't remember really having any with this game. So I guess kudos to this game. But yeah, just the overall aesthetic and visuals are just so well done. Just to kind of capture that cute, cozy exploration kind of feeling. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the gameplay mechanics as well of just, you know, doing all the platforming stuff and, you know, challenging, yeah, all these like climbs and glides and getting around this world. Yeah, not really a lot to say beyond that. Just, cute game. A lot of random little characters that you can run into that have their own little side plots going on, and you can have a conversation with them and see what they're up to. And just like, yeah, just enjoy this world. Just inhabit it for a while. Really cute game. Yeah. I guess that's all I really have to say about that. It cute. Let's see. Do I want to really show much of... Okay, let's do our... Let's leave this on while we do our next tea. Is it ready? Okay, I think it's ready. So we were at what? We just did 20 seconds, I think. So let's do like a 30-second one, I guess. All right. In the meantime, well, the next two were unsuccessful, let's just say. So let's go through those very, very quickly. We had Return of the Obra Dinn, which, here, my tea is ready, so let me go strain that real quick. While Return of the Obra Dinn plays, you can kind of see what the frame rate looks like. It's like 2 frames a second. And we were getting all kinds of crazy lag issues and like audio being out of sync, and just in general, this game was like, I think even being like on the menu screen had my GPU at like 100% next to the dark age of the internet lag. Yep, it sure is. So yeah, we had to abort this playthrough. I actually had one stream and it went horribly, and then I tried it again, started the game over from the beginning on a second stream, and that also went horribly. This thing that I'm playing is the second stream. The original one, I just privated the video already. I'll probably end up privating this one too. But yeah, I had to abort this playthrough, but I have since upgraded my setup. I now have a Steam Deck that I'm streaming from. So we'll now be able to offload all of the, actual running the game stuff to the separate device while my computer just handles the streaming. So I should actually be able to handle this game now, and I will be coming back to it. So do not worry. You have not seen the last of Return of the Obra Dinn. I guess I should at least give some mention of what this game actually is. It's a mystery game set on board this ship where, it at some point went missing, and then it kind of floated back into a port with everyone dead or gone. So your job is to determine after the fact what happened to these people, and you have like a magic compass thing that shows you little snippets of the past, and your task is to identify all of the dead bodies that you find and figure out what happened to each person. So you have this like book that shows you, all of the information about who was on the ship, and you have to put names to faces and all of that good stuff. So yeah, let's move on real quick, because again, I didn't actually finish this one. It will be coming back eventually. Do not worry about that. Up next, we have Volcano Princess, which unfortunately met much the same fate. Are you going back to Volcano Princess as well eventually? That one was also really cute. Yes, we will. So yeah, that was our next game, Volcano Princess. It is a game about raising your sweet, precious little baby daughter to be the next ruler of the nation. It is a stupidly cute game. Like, it is so incredibly adorable. Just the art style, the overall vibes of it. It's just so freaking cute. Yeah, unfortunately, it also ran into performance issues, and we also had to abort that one. That one was more confusing, because, like, Return of the Obra Dinn, I could understand. It's, like, heavy 3D graphics. This one seems pretty simple graphics-wise, but it was giving me some crazy lag. So, yeah, unfortunately, we had to stop that one as well. Here, I can fast forward a little bit to where we can actually see what the game looks like. And yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, basically you interact with your daughter. You can like have playtime with her. You can, do her lessons and like go do various activities with her that raise various stats. And it is just like cavity-inducing cuteness. Like, this game is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that's another one that we had to put on hold, and we'll be back later. So let's move on from that then. Let's have our next tea time real quick. God, this is a lot of tea, you guys. I think we went through those a little bit too fast. The tea's still kind of hot. Uh-oh, why is my frame rate so low? Are we having
Oh no.
Are we having some lag issues? Does everything
The
look
lag
okay on
issues
the
are
stream end?
sleeping.
They're leaking out from the Slay the,
They're
or
leaking out.
from the Volcano Princess video. Damn it, Volcano Princess. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's now going kind of more and more towards the more like kind of toasty, like caramelly kind of taste. I think that the kind of floral notes are more or less gone. It's really interesting. I don't know if I would say it's one of my favorite teas, but it's definitely interesting. I'm definitely kind of curious to try it in different ways. And try brewing it just kind of traditional style. See what kind of result that gives. No issues on my end? Okay, that's good to hear. Were we at 20 or 30 seconds? I think the last one was 30 seconds.
Something like that. I unfortunately have not been keeping good track.
That's all right.
I'm a bad tea ghost.
All right. Let's give that 45 seconds, and then in the meantime, let's move on to our next game. So this was a quick one, just kind of a little one-off. We had Project Cat, which is just kind of a little RPG Maker style horror game. Just, you know, the standard stuff, walk around, click and interact with things. In this case, we are trying to do a spooky ritual, and you have to gather some stuff and follow the instructions that you apparently received on a mysterious letter. How spooky.
Always
And then,
the best thing to do, just
yeah.
complete instructions that you found on a mysterious letter.
Yeah.
Notes.
And then once you do the ritual, things happen, and you have to, you know, deal with that. So yeah, this one, I think, sort of advertises itself on the fact that there are usually multiple ways to solve its puzzles, so you can, like, find alternate paths to do certain things. It is also, as mentioned, the prologue to Paper Lily, which I hope to at some point play, although can't wait for the release of the full game. Yeah, so the thing is, I generally try to avoid games that are, like, unfinished. So currently, Paper Lily has Chapter 1 out, so I'm not sure if it's worth going and, like, playing just that Chapter 1, or if I should wait for all of the chapters to be released. I mean, I guess technically I played just the prologue, although, yeah, it is supposedly somewhat standalone. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice little game. It definitely has kind of a cute little art style. And I'm definitely intrigued by, like, what is going on, because in this game you don't really get any answers. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot of questions and not really a lot of answers. Yeah, again, it's very short. We just kind of, so you can see this is almost 3 hours long, but we actually did try playing through it multiple times to see if we could get different results. Yeah, I don't know, what should I say about this game? It's cute, it's intriguing. Yeah, I definitely would be curious to see the final version. So I'm looking forward to the I guess the full release of Paper Lily, but I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll check out just chapter 1. I don't know. Should I do that? Maybe at some point. You can kind of fast forward to stuff. Yeah, there's like other little characters that you can interact with and various little hidden goofy stuff. Yeah, cool game. I think this one is actually also free because it is just kind of a demo. So, in the meantime, I guess let's have our next cup of tea. Although this has been pretty oh, oh my gosh, I forgot to pour off the tea. I'm a dumbass. I started talking about this game and then completely forgot that I had tea sitting there.
Oh no. The tea curse strikes.
Yep. All right, well, this is going to be extra super strong. I guess we'll leave it sitting there because, well, although it's probably cooled off somewhat. Okay, it's still kind of hot. Judging by one sip, it is probably quite bitter at this point. Oops, my bad.
Whoops.
Kind of lost track of that one a little bit.
Bitter tea speedrun.
Yep. All right, so after this, we went on to No Case Should Remain Unsolved, which is a really interesting and unique one. It's, as you can guess, it's a mystery kind of detective game where there's a case and you gotta solve it. But there's some layers to this. Man, I don't know if I even want to like show the opening. I don't know if I want to spoil things. Let's maybe just go into somewhere in the center. Basically the way this works is that you're playing as this retired detective who at some point back 12 years ago worked on this case and, you know, it was left unsolved. And now, years later, someone comes to you to try to like reopen the case and to try to get you to revisit it. And we're not doing like a new investigation. It's just going back over your memories of the case. This one just melted my brain completely. Yeah. It's so that this character's memories are very fragmented and very unreliable. So we're just kind of going back through that past evidence and trying to match statements with who said them and with like trying to put them in order and whatnot. So you can like select who said a particular thing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a really unusual sort of gameplay. At least I don't think I've really played something similar to this before. And yeah, the twists and turns are crazy. Like, it is definitely a mind-melting sort of game. I mean, I'm into that kind of thing. I thought it was a great time. I had a blast. Just kind of twisting my brain into pretzels. Yeah. Yeah, some good stuff. Pretty intense on the mysteries. There's, you know, a lot of people making a lot of dramatic declarations and, you know, as the kind of summary synopsis of this game says, everyone here is lying for one reason or another. And yeah, you have to figure out what happened. And it's not very straightforward. It's definitely a mindfucky kind of game. And yeah, I had a great time. I thought the mystery was really interesting and just really well done. Yeah, not much else I can really say about that. I will say the one downside is that I found the UI pretty clunky. Like a lot of the time you have to navigate around this whole space and like, you know, you have like a column for each character, and like having to scroll up and down and around all of this gets kind of frustrating sometimes. But like as far as the actual like story and mystery and stuff, I thought it was really, really good. Um, I enjoyed this game a lot. So yeah, I think that's kind of the last full game we have. Let's have a sip of our of our tea, I guess.
Incredibly
See-
steep, incredibly
See if this
bitter,
is drinkable.
well steeped tea.
Oof. Yeah, it's pretty bitter. I mean, it's not terrible. Definitely still drinkable. And definitely still has that like strong kind of, I think I would say citrusy kind of taste. Kind of tastes like orange kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even this strong and bitter, it's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We can try for a 1 minute one, although I don't know, we might have kind of fucked up the tea leaves with that stunt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's hope we don't forget about it again. But yeah, that was our last full game. I do want to give a special mention to the current ongoing game. Here, let's put that on. I'm currently playing Amaranthus and having a great time with it. So I very much encourage people to come and watch that with me, or go play it yourselves, whatever you want to do. And I have already forgotten what time I put this tea on. I think it was at like 10 or 15 seconds. Anyway, hang on. Let me brew my tea. I think it should be like 10 more seconds for that. All right, let's do that. Oh. All right. Okay, that'll be the last tea of the day, I guess. Anyway, so this is Amaranthus. It's a visual novel about what is it about? It's kind of about trying to organize a revolution with your weird, awkward friends, and then like navigating your relationships with them and their relationships with each other. So it's like, it's not really like a dating sim, but there definitely is an aspect of like relationship building and relationship management, and like the choices that you make throughout the game affect the relationships with your characters. And you can like romance people, you can have really a variety of different relationships with people. Yeah, it's just very interesting in a lot of ways. Like it has a lot of like kind of subtle branching where like the changes don't necessarily affect something in a big way, but they'll affect a lot of the small kind of dialogue and the interactions with your characters, even if they don't necessarily affect the overarching plot that much, you know? And I think it does a good job of making both the protagonist and the other characters feel like people with real motivations and with like stuff that happens outside of the player's choices, you know? Like for instance, if you, the player, choose to spend time with a specific character, then like the other characters will still be doing other things, and that might affect their relationships with each other, you know? And like it, you know that thing where in a lot of games you'll choose a dialogue option and then the thing that the character that your protagonist says is like not exactly what you said, you know, where like the game will interpret your choice in a specific way. And like it can be annoying, but I think this game does that in a very deliberate way where like it feels like you are to some extent dictating what the main character does, but the main character still kind of defines what that choice means and like why he made that choice, you know? Like yeah, like his decision making between what was I trying to say?
Talking about sort of like a
Yeah, like
deliberate disconnect.
yeah, like how should I describe this? Yeah, it's like the choice that you make might not actually be the choice that happens, you know? Like I don't really know how to describe this, but like for instance, like you can choose the action, but the the protagonist decides why he's doing it and what that action means, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or action or like dialogue option. Like
Mm-hmm.
he can decide to take that conversation in a different direction than maybe you were intending to, but in a way that like makes sense for the character. And actually sometimes that that like motivation can actually change between routes. Like the same decision on your part can be interpreted differently by the game depending on the circumstances, which is really pretty interesting. And yeah, just like it's a really good game. I'm having a great time. There's also like a lot of mystery, a lot of really interesting lore and world building that has just been like spinning in my brain nonstop. There's just some very fascinating things about this world that I'm very curious about. So I've yeah, I really like this game. The characters are great too. I love the way this game does romance. I think it's just very good at conveying these like kind of small scenes that feel very very intimate and very well romantic. It's very good at that. And in general, like the character sprites and the like expressions are really good. Like one of the things this game does a lot is have characters like eye movements. Like sometimes you'll be talking to a character and they'll like look awkwardly off to the side, you know? Like it's just such a small detail that conveys so much like so much expression. So yeah, it does a lot of things like that with like character kind of movements and body language. And I think I just feel like there's a lot of detail paid to that kind of thing. Yeah, in general, like the art and the kind of presentation of this game is very well done. So you have things like this with like the moving cameras and just all of this kind of cinematic sort of stuff. Yeah, I think it's done really well. And yeah. I guess I don't want to go too much into this game because I haven't actually finished it yet. I think there's still a lot that I have left to do. I've been kind of messing around with just like finding a lot of the different romance routes and stuff. And even then, like, I feel like there's so much I haven't found yet. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that requires very specific actions. Anyway, I probably shouldn't ramble too long about this game because, again, it's not finished yet. I'll probably feature it in, next year's anniversary stream once I've actually finished the entire game. Yeah. Really good game. I really recommend it. Please, someone play/watch this game with me. It has, like, nobody talking about it, and that is absolutely killing me because it's such a good experience. This game has just, like, taken over my brain. The brain rot is so real. So yeah, let's call it there. Yeah, there's definitely a lot that I still have to find in this game. So many mysteries still unsolved. So yeah, that's where I'm currently at. We're still in the middle of this one. Actually, this Thursday, day after tomorrow, I'm planning to stream this game again. And I will be starting a new route, which will hopefully lead me to more new answers. So, yeah, I think we're finally... I don't know if I would say we're approaching the end, but at the very least, we're approaching answers, which we really haven't gotten in any of the previous routes. But yeah, before we wrap things up for today, I do have one more special thing to share. Boop. Which is, of course, one of the other things that I've been doing on this channel is doing my speed paint Sunday streams. Yeah, I've gotten, like 38 of them at this point, which is definitely short of 52 weeks in a year, but I still think it's a pretty good number. We've gotten, yeah, I've definitely had to miss a few, but yeah, still, it's been a good time, and I feel like I've learned a lot from it. But the new thing that I've got for you guys is a little sneak preview of speed paint shorts that are going to look like this. Condensing 1 hour of speed paint down into 1 minute. 60 times speed. For people who want to see my speed paints but don't have time. So yeah, I should probably add some kind of music or something in the background, maybe. But apart from that, this is more or less what they're going to look like. Also, this first one is a little bit weird because when I was painting this one, I was moving the canvas all around everywhere. I think in my later speed paints, I generally try to keep it in one place. So those will probably look better with the image just kind of staying in place and not jumping around everywhere. But yeah, that's what I'm currently working on. Hopefully, we'll be releasing soon. I think the only thing I really have to do is probably add some kind of soundtrack. But yeah, there it is. Speed paint streams, now in extra short form. So yeah, I'll probably have to do several of them a week in order to try to catch up on the, current speed paint progress, but they should be not too hard to do. Yeah, I don't know. Do I have anything else? I think that's about it. Yeah, we got to recap a whole bunch of games, huh?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did so much this past year. It's been pretty crazy. So many cool games, honestly, like, yeah. It's really great to just have had this chance to experience all of these, like, interesting and unusual games. Like, my kind of main, release some shorts of those. Wait, hang on, what? The speed paint? Yeah, that is the plan of turning these into shorts. Yeah, kind of my goal with this channel was to just kind of do things that I would have wanted to do anyway, but just, do it on stream so that other people can check them out with me. And I very much hope to be able to introduce people to cool and interesting games that they might not have known about otherwise. So, yeah, just spreading the love a little bit and advertising some small creators, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys got to learn about some cool new games. I hope you'll maybe check some of them out, because I do think I enjoyed all of them a whole lot. Yeah, we had some good times. And yeah, I'm really grateful to everyone who stopped by and enjoyed these games with me and, contributed to the chat or even just hung around and lurked. I appreciate lurkers as well. Made me discover To the Moon, and for this I can never thank you enough. I'm glad to hear you say that. It's a really good series. I enjoyed it a whole lot too. Yeah, that's really like the most I could hope for, to introduce people to things that they love and that they might not have seen otherwise. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for joining the streams and for, participating in this crazy journey with me. Yeah, we have much more of that lined up. So many more games to play. I've still got a whole backlog of interesting things. So I hope you're looking forward to finding some more new ones. Whew. Oh man, that was a lot of tea, huh? I still haven't actually drank this last cup, so let's do that right now.
Down it. All
Yeah.
of the bitters.
Definitely not as bitter as the last one.
Okay, that's cool.
Ah. Yeah, this one's more kind of like on the toasty, sort of caramelly side. It's really nice. Another great year of tea and good games. Absolutely. Cheers.
Tea and games.
Not that I really do any tea content, really, but hey. Gotta do some on occasion, right? All right. I guess that will be it. Man. Whew, that was a long stream. A lot of games to get through.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I hope you, learned something new from all this, getting to revisit some of the old games. Oh boy. Whew. I'm tired. All right, I'm gonna, I guess, go to sleep now, if I can, after all this caffeine.
Whoops.
All right. No, it's fine. To be honest, caffeine doesn't really do much to me. So it'll probably be fine. Anyway, once again, thank you so much for watching this stream and for, just being on this channel in general and supporting me and, supporting these cool games. Yeah.
See you.
I feel like I've already said everything and I'm just repeating myself again. I hope you guys come back for more Amaranthus, because who knows how long I'll be doing that. I still have so much stuff to discover in that game. And to be honest, I don't even mind. I'll play that game as long as it takes. Good night to you both. Thank you for the lovely stream. Yeah, thank you for joining.